Another important consideration in the 3ds Max interface is the color of the background and the grid in the viewports. And I find that the default background and grid colors are difficult to read. For example, we have dark black lines for the major axes of the world coordinate system, and then we have some grid lines. But if you look really, really closely, you will see that there is a slight difference between some of those grid lines. Some are a little bit brighter, and these ones here are just a shade darker. Well, these ones that are slightly darker are in fact the major grid lines, and the lighter ones in this case are the minor grid lines. And this is kind of difficult to see. And additionally, this dark color scheme may clash with some of the existing or legacy interface elements, making it difficult for you to manipulate objects and otherwise work in the program. So I strongly recommend that you set the viewports back to their basic legacy colors, or the way that they used to be before this new dark color scheme was promoted. So I'm going to change up the background and the grid to make this a lot easier for us to read. Go into the Customize menu to Customize User Interface. And in the Customize User Interface window, we have the ability to change up hotkeys. We'll look at that later. We can create and destroy toolbars. But what we want to do is go to the Colors tab. And in the top section here, we have an element. And the default element is viewports. Within that element, we have a bunch of items. Scroll down within there and select Viewport Background. And the color of the viewport background is displayed here. But notice that this color does not match this color. And that's because of gamma correction. The gamma is being corrected, and that's actually shifting all the colors in the interface. And so the color you choose here will not be the same as the one you see here, but you'll just have to get used to that until this whole custom user interface dialog gets updated to actually respond to the gamma correction. We can go into this color swatch here, and we can change the value. Let's make it brighter. I'll give it a value of 80 and click OK. And if we want to see that take effect, we can click on Apply Colors Now. And now we have a brighter viewport background. But in order to really see the grid, we're going to need to change the grid colors as well. So back in the Colors tab, under Elements, from the pull-down list, go to Grids. And we have Set by Color and Set by Intensity. We'll just leave it at Set by Intensity and set the intensity to a value of 80. And once again, click Apply Colors Now. Now we have a much easier grid. This is so much easier for me to see. I can tell that this is a major grid line and that these are subdivisions or minor grid lines. If we want to, we can actually save this as a separate file. If we want to swap out different color schemes, we can click on Save. And this takes us to our current user interface settings. And if we investigate this, we'll see that it's being saved inside the current user's app data folder, inside local, Autodesk, 3ds Max, etc., etc. And this is the default. We can also save one of our own. We can call it Light Viewport or something like that. And we can go ahead and click Save. And that way, if we ever need to get back to that default UI colors, we can just load the default file up. We can close the Customize User Interface dialog. And even if we had not saved the colors out to its own file, then when we successfully exit 3ds Max, the viewport and grid colors would be saved. And the next time we launch the program, they'll be restored to these custom colors. And that's how to change the color of the viewport background and the grid.